I drove to Chester this morning for breakfast at Wetherspoons. Before you say anything, yes, I know. I am aware of how that sounds, and I need you to know that I genuinely don't care even slightly because 4 out of 7 of my breakfasts are in Wetherspoons, and that's not an exaggeration, it's just the fact about who I am. Now, somewhere between my full breakfast and my second cup of coffee this morning, I realized that Wetherspoons, a pub chain that most people walk past without thinking twice, has quietly been teaching me something about my career for years, and I want to talk about that. So that's what this episode's about: a drive to Chester, a 6 pound breakfast, and a life lesson I didn't see coming.
Spending the night in Dixon, 60-odd miles from a plan. Is it too late to learn to listen? Too late to be less a man? How many yesterdays are between us now? How many yesterdays are between us now?
So how did this even happen? Because I was not even a Wetherspoons person. There was a time in my life where I had never set foot in one. A friend took me. That's the whole origin story. A friend said, "Hey, we're going for breakfast, trust me." I sat down, looked at the menu, ordered a full breakfast and a coffee. It came, I ate it, and something happened to me at the table that I can only describe as, that's good. That's good. This is really straightforwardly good. Hot food, decent price, nobody rushing you. You can just sit there for as long as you like. No hovering, no looks that say, "Hey, your time is up." None of that. So I went back the following week by myself, and that was it. That friend changed my mornings forever, and I don't even think she knows it. Now, 4 out of 7 mornings, sometimes 5, on a good week, 6. I do eat other breakfasts. I want to be clear. I'm not exclusively a Wetherspoons person. I think I am more of a predominantly a Wetherspoons person. And because there's over 800 of them, I try to go to a different branch whenever I can. If I'm in a new town or when I have a free morning and I feel like a little adventure, just like today. Chester today, which is further than I normally would drive for breakfast, but it's Saturday, I have nowhere else to be, and the idea of driving to Chester specifically for Wetherspoons genuinely excites me. I have made peace with who I am. So here's a quick history so that you understand why I'm bringing this to you and you can appreciate this more. Wetherspoons was founded in 1979 by Tim Martin. He was a law student in London. The idea was simple: affordable drinks and food, no pretension, no background music, no fruit machines, just simple. One of my favorite things about Wetherspoons, and most people don't even think about it, is the buildings. They specifically look for places that have been left behind. Old banks, old cinemas, old post offices, old theaters, buildings that were once important and then stopped being used. And then they move in, restore them, and give them a new life as a pub. Which means that some of the most beautiful interiors you'll ever walk into in the UK are probably in the Wetherspoons. And today we are in Chester, the square bottle. And already from the moment that you walk in, you can tell this is a building with character. Old features, proper atmosphere, somewhere that feels like it's been around for a while. And then there is the breakfast, which is where it gets interesting for me.
The light bites.
So Wetherspoons started serving breakfast because the morning slot was completely dead time for pubs. So think about it. Nobody comes to a pub at 8 a.m. for a pint. That slot was just empty. Wasted space, wasted time, zero revenue. But Tim Martin looked at the slot and thought, okay, nobody wants to drink at this hour, but they'll definitely come in for eggs and coffee, right? So they started doing it, and it worked immediately, completely. That one single decision changed the business completely. And I think about that a lot because that idea, looking at something that already exists, finding the gap in it, and doing something with the gap is behind so many success stories. Nobody invented conversation, but podcasts found the gap between conversation and the commute and built an entire industry. Nobody invented shopping, but someone saw the gap between wanting something and having to physically go and get it and built e-commerce. Wetherspoons didn't invent the pub. Pubs had been around for centuries. They just looked at the pub and asked, what is it not doing? The answer was mornings. So they owned mornings. The pattern is everywhere when you start looking for it. Nobody invented recommendations, but someone noticed that people were already telling each other what to buy, what to try, what was worth the money, in group chats, in passing conversations on the street, and said, wait, what if that was a job? That last one is your GC. That is what I do. I was already that person, the one that people came to before buying something, the one with the opinion, the honest take. And I was doing it for nothing because that is who I was. And then I found out that that gap exists as a career. And I walked into it. Same way, Tim Martin walked into an empty pub at 8 in the morning and said, hey, I'll put some eggs on. Here is what I want you to do. Find what exists, find what's missing, do that thing. That's the whole playbook. I want to explain the 4 out of 7 thing properly because it's not just about the food. When I started coming regularly, it became a morning ritual. And when you work for yourself, when your days don't have a set structure imposed on them, having a ritual matters more than most people realize. I go, I sit, I eat, I have my coffee. Sometimes I plan the day. Sometimes I just sit there and then I start. It's the transition between home mode and work mode, between waking up and being a person who does things and having a consistent, reliable, affordable place for transition. It does something. And honestly, some of the best ideas have come at a Wetherspoons table, including the realization about the gap thing I told you earlier. That came to me over a large breakfast in a branch I'd never been to before. Tim Martin saw a gap in an empty pub on a Tuesday morning. I've seen mine at a corner table with a full English and nowhere to be.
We were sparks on quiet streets, two hearts finding where to meet. But life pulled us apart, left me talking to the dark. If I called you tonight, would it feel the same? Or have we both moved on to different names? Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars, when the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment. I've been up since 3, scrolling back where we used to be. Half truths in this late night chat, both of us knowing what it like that. Funny how we talk like we're fine, but your name still lives in my rhyme. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars. Take me back to the start, before the quiet and the scars, when the world felt small and your hands felt warm. Take me back to the start, if only for a moment. If only for a moment. If only for a moment.